following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome into a Reaction Monday here on Main Street Sports Today. Chris Yao, Mo Patton coming to you live from Southern Middle Tennessee down here in Columbia. Thanks once again to you guys for hanging out with us as we have a great show planned for you. We react to everything from high school football to college football, pros, baseball, all kinds of reaction to get to. But first, Mo, how was your weekend?
It's good. It's busy. It's a lot busier than I'm used to. You know, we Saturday, Jody and I were fortunate enough to get out to Page High School where they honored one of my former Summer League baseball players, Taylor Brewer, who was killed his sophomore year in a car wreck. They retired his number and put it up on the wall out in left field out there, and we were able to get out there for that and spend some time with his parents, and that was really cool. And then went over to Murfreesboro for an outcome that I don't think anybody expected. No. Certainly not Eddie George.
No, certainly not Eddie. Or I mean, I don't know any MTSU folks who were expecting
49-6, 42-0 at the half. Yeah. TSU's got some work to do.
They do, in fact.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're an MTSU fan, it was fun, and I am, and it was. So
it worked out just fine for me.
Yeah.
Well, we've got we'll get to that a little bit. We'll get into college football. We'll get into tonight's Titans-Bills Monday Night Football game, and so much more. But before we do any of that, Mo, we have to first give the results from the weekend and today's schedule. Obviously, it's Monday, so it's lengthy, but we do it now on the Rundown.
Here's the Rundown.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy. ZCA offers a faith-based, Christ-centered education in Murray County. Give them a call today at 931-388-5831 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule your appointment today. Zion Christian Academy, prepared for college, equipped for purpose.
All right, in high school football action on Friday, it was Centennial. Downing Summit 31-14. Beach 38-7 winners over Clarksville. Nashville Christian down Clarksville Academy 49-8, while Portland edged Clarksville Northeast for the second year in a row by 1 point, 22-21. Coffee County took down Lebanon. That's their second loss in a row, 27-23. Davidson Academy handled BGA 38-7. It was DCA 42, Columbia Academy 7, while McGavock down Dixon County 31-14. Eagleville 46-20 winners over the Tennessee Heat. East Robertson shutting out previously undefeated Harpeth 42-0. Fairview 40-16 over Cheatham County. NBA 45-7 over Father Ryan, and Independence a 27-17 winner over Franklin.
Franklin Classical with a 28-14 win over Zion Christian in 8-man football. Montgomery Central defeated Glencliff 42-8. It was Christ Presbyterian Academy 35, Good Pasture 14. Grace Christian out of Knoxville with a 47-13 win over Ezel Harding. Green Hill 17, Hillsboro in Green Hills 7.
That's weird.
Hendersonville with a 22-9 win over Gallatin. It was Henry County 49, Clarksville Northwest 7. Wilson Central downs Hunters Lane 35-6. East Nashville blank Jackson County 54-0. Springfield continues to roll with a 43-6 win over Kenwood. It was Cane Ridge 27, Laverne 13, and Pearl Cone 55, Lawrence County 7.
Liberty Creek down Chattanooga Prep 40-0. It was Lincoln County 35-27 winners over Spring Hill. Lipscomb Academy took care of Franklin Road Academy 41-12. It was Marshall County 45, Hillwood 7. Middle Tennessee Christian 34-21 winners over Trinity Christian. Mount Juliet with a 45-43 win over White County in a absolute incredible football game. Certainly a great ending. Mount Pleasant, 32-21 over Loretto. It was Ensworth, 27. MUS 17. Nolensville, 44-7 winners over Columbia. Page down Franklin County, 36-14. It was Baylor, 42. Pope John Paul or Pope Prep 7. Ravenwood, 28-10 winners over Brentwood in the Battle of the Woods.
Rossview with a 20-17 win over West Creek. It was Waverly 32, White House 21. Also Rockvale surprising Riverdale 20-7. Oakland, no surprise, 42-0 over Siegel. Smyrna with a 34-7 win over Antioch. Brentwood Academy down St. Benedict 44-7. It was Blackman 35, Stewart's Creek 28. Maplewood with a 30-0 win over Stratford. Forest 17, Summertown 9. Sycamore defeated White House Heritage 29-7. Friendship Christian with a 33-0 win over the Kings Academy. Westmoreland blanks Trousdale County 42-0. Creekwood upends defending 4A state champion Tullahoma 16-3, and Watertown with a 32-0 win over Whites Creek.
May not be defending much longer. Volleyball. Father Ryan 2-0 over Farragut. Columbia downs Hampshire 3-1. It was Oakland 2-0 winners over Wilson Central. Summertown 2-0 over Riverdale. Riverdale also fell 2-0 to Harpeth Hall. It was St. Agnes Academy 2-0 over Rockville. Ravenwood downs Rockville 2-0 as well. Siegel with a couple of 2-0 victories over Ooltewah and Hutchinson School. Page defeated Summertown 2-1 and Summit 2-0 winners over Oakland.
In girls soccer on Friday, it was Baylor 3, Gallatin 1. Harpeth Hall with a 1-0 win over Farragut. Hillsborough and Martin Luther King played to a 1-1 draw. Volleyball on Saturday, Nolensville defeated Cleveland 2-0. Cleveland defeated Father Ryan 2-0, and Summit defeated Farragut 2-0. Also, Harpeth with 2-1 win over Dixon County and a 2-0 win over Clarksville. Hillsborough blanked Oakland 2-0.
Centennial 2-1 over Lincoln County. Loretto with 3 wins, all by the score of 2-1 over Covenant Christian, Florence, and Rogers, all of Alabama. Muscle Shoals then defeated Loretto 2-1 in probably the finals there. Oakland, a 2-0 winner over Martin Luther King. Middle Tennessee Christian got 2-0 wins over Whitwell, Warren County, Tullahoma, Lawrence County, and Centennial.
Oakland with a 2-1 win over Greenwood, Kentucky, a 2-1 win over Page, and a 2-0 win over Houston. Harpeth Hall defeated Oakland 2-1. Page defeated Riverdale 2-1. Riverdale came back with wins over Hutchinson and Hazel Green out of Alabama, 2-0 in each of those, and with 2-1 wins over Wilson Central and Chattanooga Girls Prep. Summit with 3 wins, defeated Rockville 2-0, Station Camp 2-0, and CPA 2-1. Knoxville Catholic with a 2-0 win over Siegel. Summertown down Harpeth Hall 2-0 and lost to Brentwood 2-0.
Girls soccer action on Saturday. Chattanooga Christian 4, Stewart's Creek 1. Our Lady of Good Counsel out of Maryland, 3-1 winners over Christ Presbyterian. Father Ryan 3-1 over Greenwood, Kentucky. Houston defeated Nolensville 2-0. Columbia Central edged Lawrence County 5-4. It was Gallatin 3, Maryville 2, Franklin Road Academy 6, Webb School 0. And on Sunday, Harpeth Hall and Hardin Valley did all of that work for a 0-0 tie. Draw.
All that for nothing. Yeah. Pro baseball over the weekend. The Rockies took 2 of 3 from the Cubs, falling 2-1 before winning 3-1 and 4-3. Braves got out the brooms against Philadelphia, 7-2 on Friday, 4-3 on Saturday, and 5-2 in the series finale on Sunday. The Cardinals took 2 of 3 from the Reds, winning 6-5 and 5-1, falling 3-0. But Pujols is at 698 with 14 games to play.
I think he's going to get there.
Brewers took 2 of 3 from the Yankees at American Family Field, I think it is. 1-7-6. They won 4-1. The Yankees with a 12-8 win in Sunday's finale. Aaron Judge with a pair of home runs now has 59.
Let's hope the Brewers continue that
yes
over New York teams.
Yes. I like that. I like that trend there. Absolutely. Minor league baseball over the weekend. The Jumbo Shrimp with a 4-0 win at First Horizon Park over the Sounds. Sounds bounced back with a 3-0 and 8-5 win on Saturday and Sunday.
College football action on Saturday. Tennessee 63-6 over Akron. Vanderbilt with a 38-28 win over Northern Illinois. It was MTSU, as we told you earlier, 49-6 over Tennessee State. Austin Peay took them a while, but they got there. 28-3 over Alabama A&M, and Pikeville down to Cumberland 47-37. In MLS action, Nashville and Austin played to a 1-1 draw. And in the WNBA Finals, Las Vegas finishes it up. Becky Hammond, Coach of the Year, first team, all the way from start to finish. Las Vegas takes it 78-71. They win the finals 3-1 over Connecticut.
Volleyball action this evening at 5 o'clock. Hampshire is at East Hickman. Also, Zion Christian is at Mount Pleasant at 5:30. Ezel Harding is at Nashville Christian. Columbia Academy is at Grace Christian in Franklin. And Battleground Academy is at Providence Christian over in Murfreesboro. 6 o'clock starts. Harpeth at Clarksville. Santa Fe at Columbia Central, and Eagleville at Lincoln County.
Also at 6, Spring Hills at Marshall County. Page hosting Riverdale. Murfreesboro Central goes to Smyrna, while Summertown plays host to county rival Lawrence County. At 6:30, Coffee County will be at Stewart's Creek. Oakland hosts Lebanon, and Loretto is in Rogers at Rogers, Alabama, and they will be taking on the Pirates and Muscle Shoals.
In girls soccer action this evening, 4 o'clock start. Hunters Lane is at STEM Academy. At 5, University School of Nashville is at Grace Christian of Franklin. Also at 5, Middle Tennessee Christian is at Webb Bell Buckle. McEwen is at Whites Creek at 5:30. Also at 5:30, Loretto is at Marshall County. And at 6, White House Heritage is at Greenbrier.
Also at 6, Montgomery Central at Kenwood. Stratford hosting East Robertson. At 6:30, it's Cookville at Laverne. At 7 o'clock, you can find Centennial at Station Camp, and Franklin hosting Clarksville.
Major League Baseball today. In progress, the Cleveland Guardians are up on Sonny Gray and the Minnesota Twins 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th. At 5:40, the Chicago Cubs are at the Miami Marlins. At 6:20, the Braves host the Nationals. And at 6:40, as we mentioned, the Mets are in Milwaukee. Is this right? This Monday, Nashville?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to go look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. At 5:35 tonight, the Nashville Sounds are at Louisville Slugger Field taking on the Bats. And we've got an NFL doubleheader tonight. Titans at Buffalo. That's a 6:15 start on ESPN. And at 7:30, so they're going to overlap. It's not a doubleheader.
It's not. Well, it is, but it's not. They're going to start a little.
They will both be going on at the same time.
It will not be like it normally is, with one early, one super late.
Goodness gracious. Okay. Minnesota at Philadelphia. That's a 7:15 start. 7:30 start on ABC. And that is your rundown. And lengthy it was.
Lengthy it was, in fact, but that's okay. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will dive in to Reaction Monday. So please stick with us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Be right back after these messages. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Mo, it is Reaction Monday. All day long.
It's Monday all day long.
It's Monday all day long.
And it's shaping up that way.
Sometimes it does. At least it's Monday that it's shaping up to be Monday. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have them on like Thursdays.
Wednesday. Yeah.
It's never good. So we'll take it. Reaction Monday it is, and we start like we typically do with some high school sports. A heck of a weekend, as we just gave you the scores from across the mid-state and all of the areas in which MainStreetPreps.com covers. And to be honest, couple of surprises in here. I thought that Coffee County Lebanon score. I mean, after last week, didn't know how Lebanon was going to respond. Certainly, very few folks expected Coffee County to get the win, but big win for them.
Big win for them. This is a Coffee County team that, by the way, plays Spring Hill later this week. But
right.
They have they beat Tullahoma in the battle for the coffee pot earlier this year. More, or maybe not more, but certainly as eye-catching. Their two losses are to what apparently is a pretty good Franklin County team, 27-20, and at Page a couple of weeks ago, 28-14. So the fact that they were able to hang around with Page, tells me as much as either of these wins that they've gotten here recently. Certainly a team to be reckoned with in that Region 3-6A. I'm not real familiar with it. I think Lebanon is in that region. I think Shelbyville is in that region. But Coffee County bears watching over there, apparently.
That probably threw a little bit of a wrench into that region, because as you said, and I'm looking for it here, I think I've got it, that region, Cookeville, it's only a 5-team region.
It's a 5-team region, so only one team doesn't go to the playoffs. But if you are a Region 3-6A team, you are trying to get as far away from Oakland as possible.
Yes, you are. And Coffee County doing just that, 2-0 in the thus far.
Yeah.
So and honestly, I mean, historically speaking, they just won the game that they felt like they probably needed to win this region.
Sure, because they've got Warren County and Cookeville remaining back to back, both on the road. After they play Spring Hill at home this weekend, so those are basically for a home field to open the playoffs and it's hard to believe that we're already talking about
Playoffs.
Yeah, don't
Kidding
talk
me?
about playoffs. Yeah,
Kidding me? Playoffs?
right.
Let's hope we can win a game.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, the Colts may need to bring that back.
They may need to bring something back or somebody back. Goodness gracious.
We'll get to that later. But
never stop your enemy in the middle of making a mistake, though, right?
Yeah.
So
I think they should give Frank Reich an extension.
lifetime contract.
Lifetime contract. Baby.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Page in Franklin County, I thought that score was a little bit more lopsided than I expected. Page took care of business against Franklin County in a game that I thought the Rebels might have had a chance to pull a minor upset. Page said, "Not so fast, my friend."
Nay.
Yeah,
sir. Page hasn't given up more than 17 points in a game through the first half of their schedule, and that was to Class 6A Franklin, and they still won that by 11. So they are
in a rivalry game, first week of the year game. I mean, I'm sorry, not first
second week.
Second week.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, that's that game. You just throw the record books out, throw everything out. Page and Franklin. They didn't play forever.
They hadn't played for a long time until they played, I think, in 20 in a COVID game,
right?
Where you're off, we're off, let's play, But they continued the series last year. This is the back end of the official series, I guess, and hopefully they'll be able to keep that going. I think that's a nice rivalry. That's going back to the days where there were only 3 public schools in Williamson County: Page, Franklin, and Fairview.
Yeah.
Showing my age.
I mean,
now.
that's back.
But that's real, y'all. I when I tell people I was the last graduating class at Franklin before Brentwood opened, I say that people look at me like I've got 3 eyes, but it's true. There was a time when there were only 3 public schools in Williamson County.
And right now, that seems just absurd.
It really does.
It's like there was Fairview out by itself,
Mm-hmm.
and then Page got all of the rural, and then Franklin got everything in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I mean,
well, and everything north, really, because they got kids from Brentwood came to Franklin as well.
That's crazy.
It really is, and it would never work now. That's for sure.
No, you'd have to build 17 stories.
Yeah.
Other games that I thought were interesting, as we look around here in southern Middle Tennessee, Columbia Central, who we expected to be right there in the thick of things when this season started, Nolensville handled with ease, and it's just not looking great for the Lions.
And it's not looking great for the Lions, but Nolensville's pretty good too.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I just thought that Columbia Central had a chance to compete for this region, and especially after the way that they as close as they played Page last year.
Mm-hmm. That game is coming up in 2 weeks, by the way.
That game, I mean, they beat Nolensville last year. You just thought, Columbia Central can hang in this region.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, they're on a different level than they were last year,
mm-hmm.
and Nolensville is too.
Yeah,
let's give them credit as well.
We've got need to mention Columbia Mount Pleasant this weekend. Mount Pleasant comes. I've not heard a lot along the lines of the Rumble in the Jungle. Some of the particulars that were involved in that game last year are no longer in place. So is it the Rumble in the Jungle, or is it just Mount Pleasant at Columbia Central?
No, it's the Rumble in the Jungle.
Oh, well.
Lions live in the jungle.
Well, silly me. I mean, I'm only the sports editor at Main Street Murray. You'd think I'd know.
Well, the Chris Pointer put the hype video out today.
Oh, well, there you go. It didn't reach me.
The poster was on there.
It didn't reach me.
Apparently, U.S. Army is still sponsoring it, so good for them.
That's awesome.
That's great for them.
That's fantastic. Should be interesting.
It will be a heck of a ball game. I think it will be even more of a
Central won that game 35-14 last year out at Mount Pleasant.
And
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it won't be 3 touchdowns this time.
If Mount Pleasant gets out healthy, though, that's the key.
They need to be healthy because this team right now has a lot to play for.
A lot to play for. And that's what I was going to mention is Richland going to Cascade it was a close ball game in the second and third quarter. And then the Raiders just in the fourth quarter absolutely dismantled
and then apparently they decided to unwrap Ethan Workman.
Let him go.
So, yeah. Interesting stuff for sure.
Mischief Mike Seaver says the Titans are going down. The Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think that we will disagree with you right now. I mean, in week 2, they certainly look like they could. And I'm certainly not talking trash tonight. So
no, you just want to kind of get by this one and get on, I think. Right. So, yeah, we'll talk more about that later in the show, though.
We will, in fact. So that's Reaction Monday to our high school football. We've got Georgia Southern Athletics Director Jared Benko on the line waiting on us. So we'll get to him in exactly 1 minute. Stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Barn & Joint. Be back after this.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best-looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
It is Reaction Monday here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Thank you guys for hanging out with us as we get ready to welcome in the athletics director at Georgia Southern, Jared Benko, here on Main Street Sports Today.
Now let me take care of a couple of housekeeping items here real quick. Jared Benko, the athletics director at Georgia Southern, I reached out to him while you were on hiatus last week and didn't think that we could or should try to get him in last week because you weren't around, and we really didn't have room to accommodate him on Friday's show. But in the interim, things aren't quite as rosy in Statesboro this Monday as they were last Monday. And Jared, I got to warn you, my co-host is a big UAB fan, so
I'm not talking trash today.
This is kind of the worst case scenario here. I was kind of hoping that maybe you guys could carry some momentum into that game, pick up another win, and we'd be talking about some really fun stuff. But I'm going to try to keep Chris off of you as best I can. But to some degree,
Mo, I came on the show for you, so nothing against Chris.
That's all right, and I appreciate that. We have a mutual friend, longtime friend of mine, Chris Perkins, kind of put us together. And
I was going to say I can't talk too much trash because he does have a great softball coach, and that's all. He
does have a great softball coach. He apparently he has a great football coach as well, and Jared, what is the mood around there right now? I mean, again, you guys went to Lincoln, got a guy fired, and then you fall 35-21 this weekend over in Birmingham. And as a mid-major graduate and supporter myself, you get those high-profile wins like 10 days ago, and then you come back to league play and you drop a tough one. And how do you balance all that out?
Yeah, I would tell you a couple of things. One, thanks for having me. It's great to be here on the show today. Listen, I mean, last week, UAB, they had a great ball club. It's not by accident they've had the success they've had in Conference USA. And as Coach Elwin said, they just out executed us. I think the piece, I'm not real big into moral victories per se, but what I love about Coach Helton and the guys this year and his coaching staff is they didn't quit. They were down 21-0 in the first half, and the ability to see the guys continue to persevere and fight back. Listen, a season's long. It's 12 games, and we're only 3 games in, so we're a fourth of the way through the season. And to me, it's always about peaking at the right time, which is end of the year. And we have a chance this weekend with Ball State to, in essence, obviously it's homecoming, and I know our guys and coaches will be ready. We have a chance to equal last year's wins. And so, again, heading in the right direction under Coach Helton's leadership. Really excited about the future. But listen, I mean, all credit goes to UAB. They got a heck of a team. So,
got to be fantastic when you can, as you said, you've got a chance to match your win total from last year. You bring in a guy in Clay Helton who has, been to the peaks of college football basically during his coaching tenure at Southern Cal. To be able to get somebody like that and to go out to Nebraska and get a big win like you did a couple of weeks ago, and basically have the eyes of college football from coast to coast on your program.
Yeah, you can't, Mo, you can't put a price on that advertising. I think the piece for us is, I've said all along this first seasons and having been part of staffs that have turned over, you're going to have highs and lows throughout the year. And that obviously was a high and had a great game against Nebraska. What a great experience. I was so excited for our young men because for the last 9-10 months, they'd heard all the reasons why they can't win and can't be successful, and they bought into Coach Helton's vision and his staff's vision, and it showed up. Because what I think sometimes, Mo, people forget about is you don't just show up these games and it just all falls in your favor. I mean, there's a lot of work that leads up to that on and off the field, and seeing our young men get a chance to celebrate from all their hard work and their input, ultimately have an output of winning a game in Nebraska was huge. And I think last week UAB was a great reminder that, hey, listen, there's no off days. Every team on our schedule is really good, and you got to be prepared to come and play, especially on the road. And so I don't put a whole lot into it 3 games in. I'm really confident our best plays in ahead of us, and we're going to find out here this weekend, have a chance to exit out of September and go into October. And we start conference play first weekend in October. We're actually on the road at Coastal. And then from there, we'll see what happens. But obviously, really, really pleased with the direction of Coach Helton's leadership.
Speaking with Georgia Southern Athletics Director Jared Benko here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. And Jared, you just mentioned it, starting conference play at the start of October. And outside of the SEC West, you may play in the toughest division in all of football. How difficult is that for this program?
You can ask. So Commissioner Gill, Keith Gill, is a commissioner of the Sun Belt. We laugh because it was down at the Sun Belt basketball tournament down in Pensacola back in March. And I said, Commissioner Gill, I spent 20-some years in the SEC as a student on up, and I said this new Sun Belt East is going to be the toughest, that's the toughest division, and I'm calling it the SEC West. And we had a good laugh, but it's actually played its way out to be that way. So it's listen, it's a credit to his leadership, the president's leadership of the Sun Belt as well, because the unique thing about the Sun Belt, in my opinion, is, there's going to be a lot of football success year in, year out. We have some room to grow, obviously, in basketball. You look at, we were one of the 16 national seeds for baseball last year. So was Southern Miss, although they were in Conference USA. So you start looking at the footprint of all the sports, and you're getting, and you go softball, you go sport by sport, we're getting better across the board. And the unique thing to me that makes us different and better, in my opinion, is the regionality piece. And listen, fans, especially those, if you go back to the old days of some of the conference alignment before I got to Southern, those fans, those trips to different schools and local municipalities and local sporting states were huge. Our fans loved going on the road, and I'm sure other schools were the same way. So to me, expanding that footprint but keeping it regional was huge. And so, the Sun Belt East is not for the faint of heart, because it's going to be very competitive across the board.
you guys 2 weeks ago weren't the only ones to claim a scalp in the Power 5 mix, as App State and Marshall both won games on the road as well. Marshall going to Notre Dame and winning. Caught the eye of ESPN. Obviously, they decided to do College Game Day over in Boone before the App State Troy game. Would have loved to have seen that a little later in the year, probably when it was you guys in App State. But as a conference, I guess you really kind of have to strike while the iron is hot. But just to build on what you were saying about Keith Gill's vision and that kind of thing, having that kind of exposure conference-wide has really got to be huge for all of you.
No, it is huge. And I would tell you, having a chance to get to know Coach Clark the last couple of years, does an incredible job at App State, and I actually was on staff with Charles Huff and Marshall. We were on staff together at Mississippi State, and Charles is a friend and someone that I'm really proud of as well. And listen, I mean, we can be adversaries on the gridiron, but there's some really good people in our league, and collectively as a Sun Belt, you want to see every team have success on the gridiron and on the courts, because it brings more prestige and more attention to the Sun Belt. I said from day one, and I think all the ADs in some form or iteration did the same thing. This newly minted or newly branded Sun Belt is one of the top conferences in the country. Take away with the whole football expansion, is no longer the A5 or the non-A5 or the Power 5 or Group of 5. We're all FBS. And listen, when you start putting our football up, I mean, if you take all of our teams right now and you start benchmarking against all the other conferences, we're better than more conferences than not across the board. And I'm talking about some schools that obviously have more resources than us as well. And I think what you saw 2 Saturdays ago is not a coincidence. You're going to see it more and more. Traditionally, Mo, as you know, and Chris, you play those games usually the first 4 weeks of the season. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to start seeing a developing trend in the next couple of years where what are deemed upsets or will not be deemed upsets anymore. It's like, well, they're just a better football program. And that's the direction, Commissioner Gill and the rest of the presidents have us going.
Well, and with the expansion of the college football playoff in the near future, I mean, it's important for you guys as a conference to establish that, hey, we can play with these guys on a regular basis. It's not a one-off type of thing. And when you get 3 in one division inside of one conference in one weekend, that certainly sets a precedent that you guys can build upon. And as you look ahead to that expanded college football playoff, this right here is something you guys can kind of hang your hat on and say, look, we can obviously be a part of this. We should be a part of this, even as, as you say, you're not Group of 5 anymore. You're just FBS. How important was 2 weekends ago to that future of the college football playoff and where you guys stand?
Well, it's huge. I think a lot of people see it as well. It's a financial windfall. And listen, anytime you can, increase your resources to pour into and reinvest in our student athletes, that's great. But what I think it really makes a big difference is really 2 fronts. One, I think every year when you talk to, in this case, we're talking football, to our young men, and so you have an opportunity now. There's a pathway to be in the college football playoff. It's a game changer for us, because we, quite frankly, I mean, to even get to a New Year's Day 6, there has to be so many things that fall into place. I don't think that's the case anymore, and so I think it's a tremendous gateway now, and there's a tremendous. We've gone from a single lane to a 4-lane highway in terms of getting a team from the Sun Belt to the college football playoff. And secondly, I don't think it can be used against us anymore in recruiting. I think as the old Group of 5 had a mentality or a negative correlation with not having access to the New Year's Day 6 bowls and to the CFP 14 playoff, and now being a 12-team playoff, it definitely helps even up the I guess so-called differentiation in recruiting tactics, because now it levels the playing field. And I think that's huge, because every young person that I know wants to have a chance to compete at the highest level.
Jared Benko, the athletics director at Georgia Southern University, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Jared, are we done with realignment?
I would say it's a pause. Listen, I don't know anybody in the country right now can tell you exactly what's going to happen with all the realignment. I think I would tell you, we feel, and I can't speak for Commissioner Gill, but we feel very good about our current footprint and our current member institutions of the Sun Belt. But I would tell you, Mo, with obviously the revenue and the TV contracts, and a lot of those TV contracts within a 2-3 year span are all coming up. You already saw the Big Ten. You have ACC on the horizon, Pac-12 as well. I would never say never. I mean, I think there's always going to be an opportunity for some schools to see if the grass is greener. But I think, I say seismic change. I can't say that I would fully expect that in the next 5 to 10 years. However, do I think there'll be more change? I mean, I think at this point, based on the past, I don't think you can ever rule it out.
Jared, man, it's been pretty cool to have you on, and with the knowledge that you bring to the table. Mo, do you realize that he was hired in March of 2020 to be the athletics director of Georgia Southern?
Goodness.
So I don't know that you could have come into a new job at a worse time, Jared, but well done. You guys have certainly made your presence felt across all athletics. Like you said, NCAA baseball, softball's looking up. I mean, it's pretty impressive. So congratulations for all that you guys have done, and the football programs win, obviously. Good luck going forward. You got to go to Coastal before you make the trek to Georgia State. So should be a lot of fun. But thank you for taking some time with us today.
I appreciate it, guys, and thank you again for what you're doing and continuing to spread the word and continue to have college athletics and high school athletics be at the forefront. Because I tell you, we have some really impressive, and I know it's the same way at every campus, some really impressive young men and women, and any chance we have to highlight their successes on and off the field, we love doing it. And congratulations to y'all's success as well, and always in on Hill Southern. So good to talk to you, and glad to connect anytime in the future.
Sounds good, Jared. We appreciate your time, man. Good luck to y'all this weekend.
All right, God bless. See y'all.
Yeah, they've got Ball State.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them before.
Who did they lost pretty big this weekend? Who was it that got them this weekend?
Ball State. They lost they beat Murray.
Oh, they beat Murray big this weekend.
31-0.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's a big win for them.
Okay. There we go.
I don't think they'll see the same fate this weekend against
I don't
Georgia.
think so. No.
Clay Helton, man, my goodness, what a job he's done.
Well, I mean, again, just going back to that Nebraska game, 642 offensive yards in that 45-42 win. That's a lot of yards.
It is. I mean, Kyle Van Treese.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 1,000 yards on the season.
Already?
980. That's insane.
That's pretty good.
It is, in fact, pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to see, man. It really is. So, well, let's take a quick break here.
All right.
And when we come back, we will hop into the Braves.
All right.
So
keeping it in Georgia, huh?
We'll keep it in Georgia. So y'all stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We will be right back.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo?
Chris?
Pretty excited. It's time for Braves chatter. Hey, batter. Here's some chatter.
Hey, batter. Swing batter.
Yeah, lots of swings, lots of misses on Sunday for the Philadelphia Phillies as Spencer Strider sat down 10 on strikes. Of course, he threw 100 pitches of no-hit baseball. 101, however, left the ballpark, hit off of Michael Harris's glove, and stayed gone.
I'm going to tell you what. If Michael Harris had made that catch, the Rookie of the Year race would have been over right there.
Even with Spencer Strider on the rubber? Because he doesn't have to make that catch.
In the midst of a no-hitter, yes. That would have extended a no-hitter had he made that catch. But, yeah. And it's funny, the ebb and flow of that. I mean, Michael Harris for 4 days is your guy, and then Strider goes out to the mound, and all of a sudden Strider is your guy. And I think that when all is said and done, I think that's going to be the difference in this race, is that Michael Harris II goes out there every day. That's no fault of Strider's, but that's just what he does. He's a pitcher.
Despite the fact that Michael Harris II has not set an MLB record, and Spencer Strider did, in fact, set one on Sunday.
I just think what Harris has done as a midseason call-up and has really solidified both that outfield defense and this offense. You know, I'd hate to see this team without either of them. But I just think the day-to-day impact that Michael Harris has elevates him in this specific race.
Well,
and that's not to disparage Spencer Strider.
Spencer Strider did set an MLB record for the fastest pitcher to ever hit 200 strikeouts in 130 innings, beating Randy Johnson's previous record of 130 and 2/3 innings.
And I think I saw where he may be the first to get to 200 strikeouts while giving up less than 100 hits.
That's insane. Now, did you see his opponent's batting average is 168? Okay. The batting average of players that hit 2, 3, and 4, 128. 0 home runs to the heart of the order. That's insane. Spencer Strider, Kyle Wright, those two guys are what is going to give the Braves a chance to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Because if those two guys don't do what they have done, this pitching staff is just not very good.
Max has not been as consistently dominant as I would have expected him to be.
No, but I'm talking outside of Max Fried. Max Fried is going to be your guy, but outside of him, and you're right, he hasn't been as consistent as you want him to, but he's still your ace. Mm-hmm. He's still an ace pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And but outside of him, you've not had a single decent starter if Kyle Wright pitches like Kyle Wright of 2 years ago, if Spencer Strider is left in the bullpen to pitch in the 6th inning and 6th inning only, because that's certainly where he would have been. I'm surprised that he made the move to the rotation when he did.
Right.
But hey, kudos to this to the Braves organization. Kudos to them for having the guts to keep Kyle Wright in AAA and to keep him in the system And, obviously got rid of Bryce Wilson last year because you were thinking, all right, this guy just doesn't have it. It's almost like every move they make in that vein works out.
And that's been a tradition. That's not just been an Anthopoulos thing.
No,
they have really known when to move pitchers more so than anybody else, I think. But
sans the exception to the rule.
Sans
the exception to the rule.
Which one?
The one who proves the rule. Adam Wainwright.
Oh, well.
he's the exception that proves the rule. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
As many trades as there are that get made, you're going to every now and then have a clunker.
And the fact that it's just been that one, he's the one you can look at.
There's not really another one that certainly doesn't compare to that one. So
you look and you go, that's the only bad trade the Braves have made since 1988. I mean,
go figure.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, you think John Smoltz, Fred McGriff, and just keep going. It really is. And this team is put together. It's well put together. It's managed well enough. And I just feel like this team is peaking at the perfect time. To me, it feels like they're peaking. I know we went 4-4 on that West Coast road trip. I get that. But over the last 2 months, you've seen this team be better more consistently than it is not.
Yeah. And it's kind of unfortunate, the events of this weekend. We got Ozzie back and we lost Ozzie again, but
brutal.
Yeah, it's really tough. But he played really well in the game and a half that he played. And
which is why it's even tougher.
And he, as you mentioned to me in a text, he might have gotten Ronnie fixed.
And I wonder, and I hope not, but I wonder if this is going to have an adverse effect on Ronnie.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he's kind of reminds me of that line, Will Smith in Bad Boys. I ain't going back. I think he's not. I mean, as much as anything, that double that he turned on yesterday, I think he might just be feeling better on top of everything else.
Well, my concern is that, if Ozzie can get hurt that quickly again, what about me? Because I mean, you play a little gingerly on a torn ACL. You're just going to. That's just the way it is. You're never going to, or you're certainly not going to be. A year later, you're not going to feel like you're just okay.
Yeah, and I talked to our friend Pernell Knox, athletics director at Columbia Academy, certified athletic trainer, but in another life he was a Hall of Fame baseball player at Freed Hardeman. He's a right-handed hitter, and I just asked him. I said, for a right-handed hitter, how much does a torn right ACL specifically impact you? And he said, clearly. I mean, if it's your left and you're right-handed, that's your landing. It's not so bad, but particularly turning on inside pitches with any kind of authority, it
can take some time.
It can take some time, and the biggest thing he said with the ACL is physically you get back before you mentally get back and get full confidence in it. And I think that's probably where Ronnie is right now.
Well, that's where I thought he was, 2 months ago.
And so
that's why he's not been Ronald Acuna.
You're not going to see the best of Ronald Acuna Jr. this year.
I think we saw it on Saturday.
Well, but I mean,
I think you saw a flash of what Ronald Acuna Jr. really is. And at the top of his game, he's the best player in baseball.
And, listening to the guys on the broadcast, him being able to stop defensively on that knee as much as anything else is the big thing.
The diving play that he made on Saturday saved the game. It was as important, if not more important, than the 4 runs he drove in. Because if he doesn't make that play, at least 2 runs score.
Maybe 3 from what I understand. I didn't get to see
well,
it.
if he dives and misses it, it certainly would have been 3. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, Ronald Acuna Jr. when he's at his best, to me, he's the best player in baseball. And honestly, after what we've seen Juan Soto not do since being traded, I don't think there's any question that he's higher on the ranking chart than that guy. Now, Aaron Judge probably got something to say. Goodness. But I mean, this Atlanta Braves team is doing exactly what you need it to do right now. They get 3 games in Washington.
Hey, you got to realize this Atlanta Braves team has already won as many games as last year's team.
And
with what, 2 more weeks to play?
It sure is nice when you have guys like Robbie Grossman who can step in and Robbie doubles.
Robbie homers.
Well, he had a double in, was it Sunday? He had a double, 2-run double, or maybe just 1 run. I'm not sure.
No, he homered yesterday. He had a double Saturday, I think.
Okay, and then when Ozzie Albies is out, you got Vaughn Grissom just to slide right in. It's an embarrassment of riches what the Braves have.
I'm not embarrassed.
And to think, and don't get me wrong, the New York Mets are a really good baseball team. But if they had to deal with what the Braves have had to deal with this year, they'd be a 70-win team.
Oh, they're going to tell you, we've had Scherzer out, we've got Marte out, we've dealt with injuries. What the thing that kind of kills me, and I was sitting there last night thinking about this, if the backup catcher Pina, if he doesn't get hurt, then we don't get Contreras. If Arcia doesn't get hurt, we don't get Grissom. I mean, even the injuries have kind of worked out for Atlanta.
Well, they can say what they want to about Marte. They've not played well since Starling Marte has been out. Now, yes, they did not have DeGrom for the first half of the year, and they've lost Scherzer since then. They've not had their 2 most dominant pitchers, but that's the issues that the Braves have dealt with when you talk about Marcell Ozuna not being the player that they needed him to be. When you talk about having to just makeshift center field until you called up Michael Harris. Ronald Acuna Jr. dealing with, his injury and not coming up until mid-May and only playing DH for however long he played. Ozzie Albies, you have no backup first baseman. I mean, this sounds like a 65-win ball club, and yet they're shooting for 95 plus wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't beat that.
So, Nationals tonight, 6:21 pitch. Cunha, Swanson, Riley, Olson, Darno behind the plate, Harris the second, Wild Bill DHing, Rosario in left, and Vaughn Grissom at second, batting 9th. So, yeah. Love the outfit, Mo. Love you watching, BK. Appreciate you checking in, man. That's it's good stuff.
We appreciate the comments. If you want to comment on our YouTube channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and comment there. We are live every day at 2:00. Also on Twitch, you can comment there as well. And of course on Facebook and Twitter. We always welcome your comments. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're going to take a quick break, but first, got to give you this day in Braves history.
September 19th, 1998, a 3-run first inning gives the Braves all the runs they and Tom Glavine would need for a pair of milestone victories, as the 5-0 win over Arizona was the 100th of the season for Atlanta, marking the first time a team had posted back-to-back triple-digit win totals since the 1976 and 77 Phillies, and the 20th for Glavine, the 4th of 5 such campaigns for the Hall of Fame lefty. Gerald Williams, I know you remember Gerald Williams, went 3 for 4 with a 2-run homer, and the big cat, Andres Galarraga, went 4 for 4 with a double. So 100 wins in 98 and trying to get there yet again. So
would be nice.
It would.
I'm not going to hold my breath, but it would be nice.
We'll see.
Let's take a quick break here, like I said, and when we come back, we will react. I've got some tips to hand out.
I'm gonna let you.
You probably got a couple you think of.
I can come up with something.
You come up with a couple, I know.
Yeah.
But we'll get back to it right here on Reaction Monday. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Now, welcome back in to Main Street Sports Day.
Premature welcome?
It was. So we gotta make sure we're not muted. That's important. A lot going on this weekend in the world of college football. Mo, let's just dive right in because first, let's start with basketball schools. Don't call us basketball schools, says Mark Stoops.
I saw a graphic. They're like Syracuse is undefeated, North Carolina's undefeated, Indiana's undefeated.
I'm about to go through the list.
Oh, okay. And it had up under it this is March and had it scratched out and said September. Yeah.
Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, Indiana, UCLA barely, Syracuse, Maryland, and Kansas, all 3-0. That's insane.
That is.
Are you kidding me?
Well, now go through those again.
Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, and Kansas. The 4 blue bloods.
Now, of those 4, which are you most surprised by? I don't know any of their schedules really, but Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina,
Duke.
Not Kansas.
Less Kansas. One, because Lance Leopold's a great football coach. I mean, that guy is just a really good football coach, and clearly they have some talent. They almost beat Oklahoma last year, and they did beat Texas. So they've got some talented kids there. I also don't know
who they beaten.
Duke's football schedule, but let's go. Let me just pull up Duke's schedule first. Duke has beaten Temple, Northwestern, and North Carolina A&T. And Northwestern wins pretty big, or it was in week 2. I don't know how big it is now.
Okay, so here's what's funny.
They play each other. That's right.
Duke and Kansas play Saturday. Yeah,
and it's the JP game. If this were February, College Game Day would most certainly be there
without question. Kansas has beaten Tennessee Tech, but they've beaten West Virginia and Houston.
That's
pretty legit.
That's pretty legit. I mean, they're a good 3-0.
Yeah.
They're not we lucked into this 3-0. They're not we scheduled this to be 3-0.
No.
They're 3-0. And probably going to be 4-0 after this weekend, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
This may be the big noon kickoff. It's on FS1.
Makes sense.
And heck, going into Oklahoma, they might be 6-0. The way the schedule's working out, you get Duke, Iowa State, and TCU all at home. Of course, that being at home, if you're Kansas,
not really sure exactly what that means. Yeah.
Other than your routine is the same.
Yeah.
But went on the road and won those 2 games. Went to West Virginia and to Houston and won football games.
Now, Indiana, I was up in the press box at the Columbia Academy. Is it Jackson Christian? Was that the game that got rained out?
Yes.
Eventually. And Indiana and Illinois were playing that Friday night, and former boys basketball coach Marty DeJarnett is an Illinois fan, so this one kind of put him in a not so great mood that night. That 23-20 Hoosiers win, but they followed up by beating Idaho, and then they went overtime to beat Western Kentucky this past weekend, 33-30.
They should not have won that game.
Yeah, so there you go. So I think Kansas is probably
the most impressive,
the most legit.
But again,
3-0.
It's certainly the best 3-0. I just don't know that, coupled with the talent level, plus the fact that they had to play Northwestern, and I know how good Pat Fitzgerald is. I think I'm more surprised that Duke is 3-0. That's I don't know. That's different answers for different questions there.
Syracuse has beaten. Well,
Syracuse shouldn't have won this weekend.
Well, they're playing Purdue though.
I know you didn't get to see the game.
I heard about it.
I watched
though.
almost all of it.
Purdue melted down in the last minute, basically.
In the last 2 minutes of the game, just absolute. I don't know what they were doing. Mind blowing. But they have the best receiver in all of college football, and it's not close. And I mean, matter of fact, I don't even know how many yards the guy has right now. But I'm gonna go look it up because Charlie, what is his last name? Jones. Charlie Jones on the year has 32 catches, 474 yards, and 5 touchdowns in 3 games.
TJ got?
I don't want to talk about it.
9
for 94 because they just don't target him. He had a catch on the last drive. that they had a chance that they ended up scoring on. But yeah, Charlie Jones is easily the best receiver in the country. Now, Aiden O'Connell throws a pick six, and by a pick six, I mean he just kind of, I don't know what he was doing. He was being sacked, decides to throw the ball. It hits a defensive lineman right between the numbers, and he rumbles for 12 or 15 yards for a touchdown.
Oh,
right. And then on the last play of the game, Purdue's winning. They give up a touchdown that, and don't get me wrong, fantastic throw and catch, but should have never been in that situation because they had 2 personal fouls on the extra point. They have a personal foul that takes them back 15 yards from the 35 to the 20 to kick off. And then the coach gets another personal foul, so they had to kick from the 10. They kicked from the 10. They were Syracuse was basically at midfield with 15 seconds to go, and then boom, touchdown.
Good Lord.
It was insane.
Well, prior to that, Syracuse had beaten UConn and Louisville. So
Louisville, pretty good win. Or you would think after this past weekend, Friday night, you go, maybe Louisville's not as big of a win as we first maybe thought.
Well, I think there were folks in Louisville that were pretty upset over that 31-7 loss to Syracuse to start the year. So there you go. But interesting. This is
heck of a weekend.
September, not March.
Heck of a weekend for basketball schools. Kansas got folks fighting on the sidelines. Did you see this?
Mm-hmm.
2 Houston players shoving one another on the sideline not after the game, but after the game was in hand for Kansas. I mean, guy comes off the field and just, shoves his teammate. I'm telling you, it's been the craziest weekend ever. On top of that Houston fight, you got the Mike Evans fight from yesterday. That was nuts. Did you see what
Apparently Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore have a history, though.
Apparently there's history there, but
so
also
it's kind of on site with those 2 guys, I guess.
Also, I think it had something to do with Lattimore hitting Brady a little late.
It's Tom Brady. What you want me to do?
And so
that's my quarterback. That's my teammate. Yeah.
He got a 1-game suspension for it. Yeah. 1 game.
He's appealing it apparently. But,
well, he might serve it next year then.
I don't know, man. When
I hope he goes to if he goes to Goodell and says it's Tom Brady, what do you want me to do? And Goodell's going to be like, Tom who? Because we all know the history between Goodell and Brady.
Yeah.
It ain't that's not a good
case.
defense.
No, that's not a good. Yeah, you're right. That's yeah.
That's not the defense you want to.
You may want to refine that a little bit before you go in front of Goodell. Yeah, Your Honor, what happened here? No.
Did you see Tom Brady's got he's getting a Veterans Day off basically every Wednesday.
So I think the NFL I think those teams basically take Tuesdays off. So now he's going to be off on Wednesdays, giving him back-to-back off days. And it's amazing to me. You hear all this about football, about how no one is bigger than the team and this and that and that and this. And then you see all the concessions that Tom Brady gets.
Well, he's 45 years old, still playing at a high level. All I'm saying is the fact that he's taking Wednesday off as well on the same day that Captain D's has their senior citizen discount, not a coincidence if you ask me. Not a coincidence.
I'd pay good money, good American dollars to see Tom Brady at Captain D's.
That'd be hilarious.
So yeah. I'd pay good American dollars to see that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's talk a couple of things. One, you destroyed me in Pick'em this week.
Did I? Good. I needed to,
because I think I went 3-7.
Oh.
I'm almost certain that I went 3-7. We both missed Oklahoma, Nebraska. We both got Oregon, BYU. We both picked Auburn, so we were 1-2.
How did we pick Auburn?
We just thought there was something in Jordan Hare, apparently.
Convinced
Clearly
me.
there wasn't.
Nothing. There was nothing in Jordan Hare.
Colorado got absolutely destroyed.
Curb
so
stomped.
You won that one.
Mhm.
So, and then we both picked Appalachian State, and God, how long did I agonize over that?
Pretty good while.
Should have picked Troy. Dadgummit.
Let's see. We both picked LSU.
Both picked LSU, which we got. Both picked NC State, which we got, I think. You picked Washington. I picked Michigan State. Bad move there, Chris. We both picked UCF. Did you have Miami or Texas A&M?
We both had A&M.
Okay. And then, so I'm not entirely sure, but I know you were 2-2. I was 1-3. You were 2-4. I was 1-4. 3-4. 4-4, 5-4, 6-4, 7-4. You went 7. That doesn't sound
not
right.
7-4 because we only picked 10 guys.
Yeah,
7-3 maybe.
7-3.
Yeah,
and I think I went 5-5. But I did. I'll tell you what I did. What I've been doing off air. I'll tell you what I've been doing. You're gonna laugh. Anyway, not a great week for us because Oregon and Washington looked really good. Washington, which again, Joe Rexrode says Michigan State's not as good as people think they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what this Washington team really is.
Right.
But I think they're pretty good. I mean, I think they're going to contend in the Pac-12.
Well, for the sake of the Pac-12, they need to be pretty good, I think.
Absolutely.
Because they need somebody other than Oregon to be good.
And
because I'm not sure how good Oregon is.
USC is playing close to their potential. Oregon looked like the Oregon we expected to see. I think
Georgia didn't completely break them then, you don't think?
And, that's interesting because, when Alabama plays teams, they usually break them. And you saw what happened to Texas in the first half against UTSA.
Mm-hmm.
They had to really make some changes there. So well done by Steve Sarkisian to get his team back on track. But that Georgia game was just a really poorly timed game for Oregon. If they had played anybody else, we're talking about Oregon and the potential college football playoff.
Or if they had played Georgia any other time.
Any other time, maybe. Yeah, and
they had played and had a game up under them before that.
Sure.
But what's funny about that is, you had basically 3 weeks to get ready for Georgia. Georgia had 3 weeks to get ready for you. I guess.
Bo Nix, a team that now I understand that both teams were familiar with one another. Dan Lanning obviously coming from Georgia, Bo Nix coming from Auburn, but the fact is that Georgia is just head and shoulders better than everybody in the country, including Alabama at this point.
Right.
So, last but not least, couple of things I want to throw out. I think the best performance of the weekend for me is a tie. Because I cannot not give it to Tua Tagovailoa and that fourth quarter that he had.
6 touchdowns.
And 6 touchdowns in the game, including 4 in the fourth quarter. That's insane. But AJ Swan, man.
Talk
about a guy who had to get it done and just freshman.
And it was funny. I went back and looked at an article online after that where Clark Lee discussed the decision to go to Swan in the starting role. And he just said that we felt like the offense wasn't operating at optimal levels and wanted to give him a shot. I mean, credit to him for going with his gut and going with a true freshman. And I think it'll be interesting because, again, you've got Ken Seals, who has started games for Vanderbilt. You've got Mike Wright, who went to media day, and you've got a true
the C on his jersey.
Yeah, and you've got a true freshman in AJ Swan. I mean, you've got 3 quarterbacks at Vanderbilt. how do you keep all three of those guys, and how do you keep that from getting squirrely here at some point?
You just got to hope that those guys can keep it together in the room. I mean, Mike Wright and AJ Swan are battling. And right now, AJ Swan is going to be the starter until otherwise noted.
No, Vanderbilt plays who next?
I don't. Alabama. they go to Tuscaloosa this weekend.
You may see all three of them. And it may not be by choice.
It may not be, yeah, who knows?
But coming out of that, let's see, they are off the weekend after that, which is probably a good thing. And then they've got Ole Miss coming here on the 8th, and then they've got Georgia on the 15th.
It's tough. It's a tough stretch, but I
Second-ranked Alabama, 16th-ranked Ole Miss, and number 1 Georgia are Vanderbilt's next 3 games.
That's unfortunate.
Whoever made that schedule did them no favors.
Call the office.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he played really well. So kudos to AJ Swan, but obviously I could not mention Tua because my gosh, his fourth quarter performance alone was probably the best of the weekend. Worst performance to me, not even close. And this guy can kick rocks. If he comes into Knoxville and wins next week, I'm just going to – I don't know what I'm going to do. Anthony Richardson played terrible.
He has been – I mean, has there been anybody that's been more up and down than he has through this start of the season?
No. I mean, I thought he was a legitimate Heisman contender after Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky made him look, pedestrian. And then last – he nearly threw – it would have been a pick six if the kid had not stepped out of bounds on the pick in the end zone. And it was an RPO, and he chose to throw the ball. Now, granted, he got the matchup that you want, but you just ran the ball down their throat for like 65 yards in a row, and you want to throw a one-on-one back shoulder? No. Anyway, he played terrible. They didn't deserve to win. The kicker from South Florida darn near made a 45-yard kick with the ball laying on its side. I mean, literally, did you see it?
No,
okay,
I didn't.
So the punter's the holder.
Mhm.
He gets the ball, puts it down, and it falls.
Oh, goodness.
He's trying to get it back up.
The guy's already –
the kicker kicks it. It's a line drive kick, and it's going. I mean, it's in there, and then it curves to the right, and he misses it by about 18 inches.
Oh, wow.
Almost made a 45-yarder with the ball laying on the ground.
It's talent.
It's impressive. Biggest upset, no motorcycle or neck braces in Arkansas.
I'm sorry.
That was the biggest upset.
Brace yourself.
Best jersey. Look, this y'all say which one? Tulane.
I didn't get to see them. They played. Did they play K-State this
They did.
weekend? Okay.
And that
I saw the helmets.
Just that color scheme.
That powder blue and green.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh! I never thought those two would go together, but they nailed it.
Powder blue works with a lot of stuff, man. Yeah.
A big fan of Tulane uniforms. Best play for me, Hail Mary, App State.
Oh yeah.
They
needed that.
Anytime you can beat Troy, I'm a fan. So there's that. I couldn't think of a coaching genius move. I couldn't think of anything that just made somebody look like a genius for their coaching decision. But coaching malpractice has got to go to South Alabama's fake field goal.
How were they that close to UCLA?
Oh, I don't know. But because they're in the Sun Belt. That's all. That's all.
It's rubbing off. Yeah. Okay.
And UCLA is not very good. They're pretty bad, even under Chip Kelly. But all they had to do was kick the field goal. Just kick the darn field goal. Win the game. Kick the field goal, win the game. Probably. I say that. But you certainly don't audible out of your field goal formation into whatever they were doing. The crazy thing is they did have a guy open. The guy just couldn't – the guy playing quarterback couldn't get him the ball. It was insane. Absolute worst decision of the weekend.
When I saw this score 32-31 UCLA, I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, kick the field goal, win the game.
I didn't realize that was how it went down.
Well, no, they were winning at that point. UCLA got the ball at that after
point.
The sack.
Went down
and goal.
And they kicked it.
Win the game.
So it was 31-29 South Alabama. Well, I guess he was thinking if it was 31-29, if we kick a field goal, we're still a touchdown still beats us.
A touchdown, but not a field goal. Didn't you get to kick off and they don't get the ball at the 40? Maybe.
You know what we've not mentioned?
What's that?
And are you going another segment or are we?
We're just going to take it to the end.
Well, we're going to take it to the end. For the second weekend in a row, we've seen a college coach get fired.
That's right. Herm Edwards is out, and tomorrow.
So you play to win the game is no longer in play in Tempe, I guess.
Did you see Eastern Michigan's social media team? Yes. Social media graphic says you play to win the game with the final score under it. A thing of beauty. Well done, Eastern Michigan.
Wow.
So there's that.
That's unfortunate.
Tomorrow we will go over the lengthy list that Pete Thamel put out of potential coaching hires.
I'm sure it'll be interesting, and I'll be interested to see what kind of overlap there is between Arizona State and Nebraska.
Well,
if any.
The first name on his list is Brian Harsin.
That man's got a job.
Got
a job.
Yeah. A job.
Well, that might be the best thing for everybody involved, actually.
Everybody. I feel like he would be a good Pac-12 coach. The way he coaches, the way he recruits, it fits for the Pac-12. It doesn't work in the SEC.
It's not working at Auburn.
And old Yellow Tag Jimmy would be certainly happy.
So who is Auburn's next head coach if Harsin leaves? Ain't it?
Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
That's
same as it should have been
the first time around. So there's that. Anyway.
I guess we're not far from getting the bias back on.
Probably not. Finally, before we get out of here, Titans play tonight. That's the Bills and the Titans.
How close do the Titans have to play the Bills for the panic buttons not to go off here?
I mean, I'm not hitting the panic button no matter what. One, the Giants won again. Of course, whatever. But
they beat the Panthers, right?
But winning in the NFL right now seems to be a premium, no matter who you are. I mean, nothing is going the way that we saw. The Falcons
should have won.
Should have beat the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals are 0-2, and they had to play Cooper Rush at quarterback for the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? I mean,
and still lost. The Bengals did.
Yeah. You're the Jaguars beat the brakes off the Colts. If the Titans don't win tonight, the Jacksonville Jaguars will be in first place with a 1-1 record. They will be in first place of the South.
Well, so there you go.
The Texans, I mean, they had the Broncos on the ropes for a minute. It's just any win right now in the NFL is.
Well, I mean, these coaches will tell you how tough it is to win a game in the National Football League.
It's impossible.
And I guess they're right.
Yeah, it's insane. So I think you just take it as you just take this game as we're playing the best team in the league. we want to be competitive because we think we're one of the best teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But you also can't hit the panic button if you go in there and get beat by 2 touchdowns. You just can't. You're a 10-point underdog.
What if you get beat by 4 touchdowns?
Then I think you just – I don't think a Mike Vrabel team's going to get beat by 4 touchdowns. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, if it's because of offensive, tomfoolery, just doing dumb stuff, then maybe you hit the panic button on your offense. But I don't think this defense is getting beat by 4 touchdowns, even if they are playing the best offense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the answer is probably 28 points.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it coming.
Yeah. Okay.
What else? I was going to say something.
Okay.
Before the Colts. Did you see the football that they put in the Hall of Fame for Matt Ryan's 60,000th yard?
Mm-mm.
They number every football
in
the NFL. It's 283. You can't make this up. You cannot make it up.
As soon as you said that number of the footballs, I knew that's what you were going to say.
The number.
How does that happen?
Any number but that. Any number. I don't care if it's 281,
282, 284.
Doesn't matter, but not 283. There's no way.
Okay, so I got a question for you. We're past time. But what are you going to watch tonight? Titans, Bills, or Braves, Nationals?
Well, considering I don't get Bally, I can assure you I'll be watching the Titans and Bills.
On that note.
By the way, if you're in Columbia and you're a female watching this for whatever reason, or if you want to tell your wife about it, River Terrace is using their party room for Monday Night Football widows. So if you don't want to be home while your husband is watching Monday Night Football, you can go to River Terrace here in Columbia. They're going to have a big party table where you can eat dinner with other wives who don't want to sit at home while their husbands are watching Monday Night Football. That's a pretty good marketing strategy there. I'm just saying.
Is that something they're going to be doing all year?
I think it is. So anyway.
Interesting.
Anyway,
okay.
we're going to get out of here on this Reaction Monday. Tomorrow, Chip Walters, as always, Top 5 Tuesday, and more reactions to college football. We'll obviously react to the Titans.
We should probably mention the AP Top 25 tomorrow since we didn't today.
Not
a whole lot of changes, but still.
I'm just glad the AP college poll is out since the high school
is it still not?
I don't know.
Oh.
But there was an issue to get the high school poll out, so I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, plenty to get to tomorrow. Come back 2:00 here on Main Street Media TV. This is Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you tomorrow.